All right. Welcome everyone to the August 2021 edition of the PRA meeting. Back to virtual again due to Delta and masking restrictions or mandates and the whole 9 yards that we got kind of excited about not having to do for a while. So I'm Anthony, KE7OSN, and I am the chair of the board. And assuming the moving tiles do not move while I read them off, we'll do introductions. So we'll start with Olin.
Hey, Olin, WA7YXY, Corvallis.
Anna.
I'm Anna, and I'm NH6Z, and I am in sunny Lebanon, Oregon.
Scott.
Hi everybody, I'm Scott, KF7GGN. I think most of you know that. And I'm here in Corvallis.
Drew.
Drew Terrell, W3HES, and I am over in Albany, Oregon.
Donna Betsy.
Betsy, K7BTS. Pleasantly returning to a smoke-free area, from a very smoky Eastern Washington.
Don, W7DMR, Corvallis.
Ted.
W7RTM Club Secretary in Philomath or out of Philomath or something.
Paul.
N0 BLR Paul Pittsburgh with W1NE in England.
Next up we have Eric. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Eric, KJ7AE, and I'm relatively new to Corvallis, about a year ago, but just found out about the group a couple weeks ago when you provided support for the Mid-Valley Bike Club covered bridge bicycle tour. So I'm glad you were there because I found you.
Well, thanks for joining, and I hope you had a good time at the ride. Go ahead.
No, it was a good ride, and that was a similar thing. I took a ride and found the C2C trail group and the Mid-Valley Bicycle Club, and the next day I was on a gravel ride, and then a couple of weeks later on the covered bridge tour. So it's a good group of people who stay active.
That has long been one of my favorite events to do comm support for. So guess next up we have Matt.
Matt, KF7DVN, outside of SIO, actually on the covered bridge route.
Tyler.
Parsons, WB7DD in Corvallis.
Mike.
Mike, W7RIS, located about 10 miles north of Corvallis.
And Ben, just in time.
Hey, good evening, everyone. November X-ray 7 Oscar here, up in Tigard.
Welcome, everybody. And I should fail to mention, but I am sitting in unincorporated Marion County, somewhere slightly west of the town of Staten. So we will roll right along. The Secretary's report, Ted.
I guess I should unmute. So you should have received the abridged minutes from the July meeting. Are there any updates, deletions, modifications? Just give me a holler and I will make those ASAP. Thank you very much.
All right. And as I mentioned, Andy was going to scout out at Tommy's to make sure nobody showed up there and didn't get the email about going Zoom this meeting. But he did send the report. So in checking, there is $2,372.70. Savings, there's $1,481.10. In cash, there is $38.70. There is current SquareUp and PayPal are both 0. And that leaves a total of $3,892.50. So with that out of the way, old business and previous events. Quick update on website stuff. So I did get us set up with the Ham Club Online as a service for tracking membership, dues and roster and the like. And it does appear that there's also a email messaging system incorporated with that. So far, we've got 11 people signed up. And it does have the ability to link through and connect to the APIs for PayPal and Square. So I'm going to work with Andy on getting those APIs plugged in. And then I'll work with Andy and Ted to, as we get people signed in, making sure we update their membership information to reflect when they have since last paid dues, so that we have them in the system appropriately. It will remind you when it's time to, when you are due to pay your dues, and renew there, and give you links to PayPal and or Square to do that, as well as we can plug in manually if you pay with cash or check. So it does look like there are some potentially some neat features in that system. Some of the pending ones are, it does appear that clubs are will be eventually able to sell club paraphernalia through the website, and also some sort of club auction thing. So looks like a lot of really neat functionality there. So if you haven't signed up, I sent the link out in the last couple of emails. So go ahead and sign up there and we'll get transitioned over. And I think there actually is, and I'll work with Ted and Andy on this later too. I think there is an option that we can dump up a bunch of emails into the system and have it email out to people. So we can get that going from that side too. Any questions?
I have one there, Anthony.
Mhm.
I signed up today, and you kind of mentioned you can search for, W7PRA, and I tried that, didn't seem to work. It wasn't even the search said there's no such term. So I'm wondering how we associate ourselves with the club. How does that work?
So I just went in for the apply, so got logged in under Ham Club Online options, said apply for membership with a Ham Club Online club. I clicked on that and typed in W7PRA, and it said I was already a member.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering, okay, maybe my membership has lapsed, and maybe that's why it doesn't associate me with the club.
Well, it should come up with, because Ham Club Online doesn't know who you are.
Right.
So you have to log into Ham Club, sign up for Ham Club Online as a new sign up, and then from there do the search for W7PRA, and it will once you're logged into your Ham Club Online account.
Oh, because that's what I did. I was logged in, and I did the search, and it didn't. It basically said W7PRA doesn't exist on our database. So I must have done something wrong, obviously.
So Scott, did you spell it right?
Oh, maybe that's it. Well, I thought I went lowercase and uppercase just to make sure that it was.
It doesn't make any difference. It'll find it in any way that any case you give it, it'll find it for you.
No, I know, but it didn't. And so I must have done something wrong. Maybe I didn't log in correctly.
Yep. Well,
I can attest from this side that we've used it for 3 months now. And don't be surprised if the, what do you call it? The adoption is a little bit slow for the members. But once you kind of migrate, then it starts to kind of pick up speed. There is an email function. I just want to let everybody know that Ham Club Online does not send any spam. It does not try to cross advertise anything so far, right? So at least that's been my experience. I've been a member for about 160 days now, prior to, your invite, Anthony.
Okay.
So Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
is this something that you're encouraging everyone to do?
Yeah. So in lieu of where you used to be able to have the login and update your membership with the on the w7pra.com, this is the new iteration of that. The plugins and stuff that we were using weren't being updated very much for WordPress, and so Chris kind of nuked the old website
Okay.
and started from scratch. So
Because I wasn't using the old website for that kind of stuff at all.
I was. for the same
He
one.
was,
Yeah,
but,
we're the same
so
one.
I didn't know what was going on exactly when I got the email.
yeah, so this is what we're doing to track membership and stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of neat stuff, and there's like the family membership that we have there is a way of doing it in here. I just haven't gotten that far. Figure we get people like right now. I think there's only a couple of people that I have that are signed up that have actually been registered as when they last paid their dues, and that was because as I was going through the PayPal account to try and futz with getting the API key for a PayPal. I did come up with the transaction log and was able to update the handful of people that I saw that correlated in the transaction log of PayPal to had already signed up for Ham Club Online. But yeah, so
Okay, thank you. I just didn't know what it was all about.
basically just tracking membership status. So and then I don't think we had any other old business. But past events, before we got started, there was the QSO today, which was this past weekend. Any great takeaways from that?
I'll go.
Go
I
for
got a lot of utility out of the presentation on beverage antennas. They look a lot more practical than I'd realized. In particular, when the wire's laid on the ground, what the guy calls a BOG, beverage on ground, the velocity factor in the wire drops down to about 0.6 or 0.5, which means it's not nearly as long as you might have thought it would need to be. Very, how to say, accepting of like zigzag configurations and just laying on the ground. They are receive only, so you need to run a separate receiver from your transmitter if you don't have separate antenna spigots on your transceiver. But I thought it was really interesting, a lot more practical than I'd realized. Back to you.
All right, cool. Anybody else? All right, hearing none.
Olin's on mute. He was trying to share something.
Oh, go ahead, Olin.
Sorry about that. I got used to not doing Zoom. Anyway, I did the session about the transatlantic radio test, which was in 1924. That was interesting. There was a part on saving one of the great columns transmitters from VOA that was located in Delano, California. I never realized I was so close to that facility when I was working down there. That was pretty interesting. I did the wire antennas. I intended the one about off-center fed dipoles and in-fed antennas, and that was really good. I also did the beverage antenna thing because I need a receiving antenna. And what else did I do? I kind of wandered around the exhibition hall a little bit I think that was about the crop of it. It was kind of difficult for me. I could never get into the question and answer sessions. And every time I wanted to go to a new session, I had to go log back in. So it was kind of a persistence deal, but I guess I got a lot of good information out of it, so it was worth it for that. That's it.
All right. Any other past events from the last month or so?
I have an update I'd like to share.
Mm-hmm.
Paul asked me for the repeater list, and I discovered that w7pra.com no longer exists. So the repeater, how I was getting the repeater list, any changes to the repeater list, has not been able to run since middle of June. So if anybody wants the last list, send me an email and I'll send it to you. I don't know what Chris's plans are for that website. And we'll have to cross that bridge when he's done refactoring whatever he's refactoring. But that's that. Not to mention where I was formerly putting the list, everybody couldn't get to anyway. So it's probably not a very highly used thing, but there you go. Thank you.
And the reason I asked for that, Ted, was because my son, who I've been renewing his license on his behalf, right, because I've got the FCC keys, he just gave me a beautiful little granddaughter. So he's busy, but he wanted some emergency radios. And so I loaded him up with all of the Willamette Valley repeaters, and sent him a couple of cheap HTs.
Okay, so I guess I'm still a little bit confused, but I did look to see that we still have the w7pra.com website. And in there is a tab for repeaters, and it has the list of repeaters in it.
I think it's a bit outdated, Mike, based on the list that I got, because there's a new Oregon connection now that was been added. So there's like 49 repeaters. On that list that you see there is probably 18, right?
The one I'm seeing is 49.
It says 49.
That has been updated since Ted and I have talked.
Okay. Okay. I'm just wondering how far behind I was running.
So I haven't looked at it for a month, so I will look at that and see if I can get things working again.
I have been noticing, I think he has been updating the repeater list quite a bit and tweaking things here and there. So things may break from time to time.
So when I try to go there, I get a security risk because it's something is different between the certificate and the website's URL. And maybe that's just a Firefox thing.
Huh.
Try Chrome.
I don't have Chrome.
Yeah. So it says the certificate that's up right now says it's valid from today to November 14th. So I've got a I'm gonna say it's probably a Let's Encrypt. I know what he's doing. So yeah, it might have just been I know some stuff does cache certificates, and if something's caching, which it shouldn't if it's expired, but it may be not pulling the current today's version.
Depending on your version of Firefox, Let's Encrypt changed their intermediate cert path a while ago. and had some problems. So if you have a more crusty version of Firefox that may not have updated the root cert cache, the root cert file, you may have problems with some Let's Encrypt certificates.
Okay. I didn't think my Firefox usually stays pretty current, but Ubuntu keeps it fairly current. So I'll check into that. Thank you.
Well, and if it's on Ubuntu, it's not really in Firefox, it's in the OS. So if the OS hasn't updated the cache, it's in Etsy SSL certs is where all the root certs come from. And there's actually a command, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, where you can cause it's a script to re-download all the certs and regenerate the root cert file on the system.
Okay. I'll look into that.
All the funds of
This has
crypto.
been the educational channel already. We haven't even gotten halfway through the meeting.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I believe Andy and Jim are on the call now. You guys in position you can say hi? Gotta take that as a no. All right. Moving on to the new business and upcoming events. Any new business for I don't think I had anything on other than if we do get to go back in person again, the plan is to do the hybrid meetings kind of like we sort of had last month. Oh, there's Andy.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm technologically challenged is what the problem is.
Well, it's good to have you there. And is Jim still with you?
No, he left. He said hi to everybody and he went home. So Jim and I were the only ones at Tommy's. I'm still there. And if you need me to, I can give you a quick treasurer's report unless you already did that.
We already covered it.
Okay, very good. All right, nothing more to report here.
Yeah, I'd probably have to get wrapped up there pretty soon if they're gonna kick you out in half an hour. So
Yeah, they will.
all right. Any upcoming events or well, so as I was saying, so plan is to do hybrid meetings. So we'll have continue the Zoom meetings along with the in-person meetings as we are able to do the in-person meetings, and when and where the in-person is not practical, then we'll continue with just the Zoom. So we'll have both options available as conditions allow. And then any other upcoming events that people are looking forward to in the next few months or so.
I have something to share here.
Mm-hmm.
The Salem Repeater Group looks like they're trying to get Oktoberfest going at Rick Riel. And so it's like, I know that they were running real hard to get all the brochures out, get all the invites, get everything lined up. And then with this last bit about on the state as far as the mask mandates, I don't know what that has done for those guys. But so that's something that's possibly going to happen in October.
On September 11th and 12th in North Bend, Washington, there is the Northwest APRS Summer Gathering. It's at Valley Camp, which is a campground there run by some of the folks that are involved in the whole Northwest APRS organization. So it'll be outdoors and relatively safe that way. They're also planning on Zoom streaming it. And having that as an interaction. It is not just APRS, it's kind of turned into more of the Seattle area digital, Ham's interested in digital meeting for the summer. It's kind of a bookend to Microhams Digital that's more in the early spring. So I'm not 100% sure yet. I will probably be giving a presentation on a demonstration on how to run the Flex 6000 series with the WSJTX and get that hooked up, and show how you don't really need any cables to do it, just some software to connect everything together. So I'll be going over doing that not only with one receiver, but a couple of receivers, since you can do it on 2 different slice receivers relatively easily. So there will be that. I haven't heard of any of the other presentations that are going to be there yet, but there are generally some fairly intelligent folks about digital communications up there talking about stuff. That's really where HamWAN in the Seattle area was conceived of and announced quite a few years ago, and where I met my compatriots in Northwest Digital Radio that we started the company essentially at the summer gathering one year. So anyway, it's interesting. It'll be on Zoom, or you're also welcome to come up to Valley Camp. There are camping facilities available and RV hookups if you want to spend the weekend and hang out there.
I second that, Anna. I mean, Scott and I took the drive up there. We had a great time. I can't remember how many years ago, but we went up there and it was really in depth and very much into digital if you're interested. So yeah, good time.
Yeah, I remember that, Paul. It was great. And I believe I'm going to try to do it again this year. In your in your honor, Paul.
If you're there, look me up. I'm relatively familiar with all the Seattle guys, and I've been going for 11 or 12 years. So yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
Northwest Digital Radio will be sponsoring a CAG again this year, it sounds like. So come over to the Northwest Digital Radio informal tent and we'll have a keg and free beer.
Sounds good.
So the question is, what's the licensing terms for that beer? Is it open source and Libre as well?
I don't think I want you sharing that beer with anybody else, right? I think once you have it, I want you to keep it, and what we will call it free as in beer, not free as in freedom.
So I'll throw in a little plug since we're into new business that I'm part of a 6-person team that does the Pennsylvania QSO party. We're doing it, looking at the calendar here, October 9th and 10th. I'll send out an email to the Reflector. I really like to really nail some, really West Coast sections. I'm in charge of getting ARRL sections on 10, 15, and 20 for the first part of Saturday and the first part of Sunday, as per the plan. So I'm really looking out for my my 7-section 7th area call peeps to help me out here. Thank you.
We'll be there for you, Paul.
Thank you.
Wow, I have an excuse to turn on the amp?
Yes, yes. We will have a tower mounted, Anna will have a tower mounted, we go expedition style. So we go to a different county every year and we bring everything and we set it all up the day before. 9 antennas, 5 guys. It's like field day times 2 divided by as many people as in half. And so it's crazy. We have a tower trailer, we have a tri-band beam. If the conditions are right, we'll put up a 6-meter beam too, but we haven't seen that yet. And we usually kick ass on points. So we've, as I was telling Ted and Olin earlier, that this is going to be our 10th. We're going for our 10th high point score on each of the counties. So in Western Pennsylvania, we've gotten 9 so far. And so this is we're going for number 10. Thank you.
All right. Look forward to trying to work you there. Any other upcoming events? All right. Any exciting ham achievements in the last month or so?
This isn't really a ham achievement, but we're pretty proud at Flex because we delivered our 5 radios to the Air Force 2 weeks ago. So they are in the hands of the Air Force Research Lab and the Joint Interoperability Test Command. And they will be testing our radios from now until January. And we will find out in January whether we have won it's like a 30 or $40 million contract for radios. I wish I could show you a picture, but it's a really cool looking radio.
Who's your competition?
Our competition is L3 Harris. Believe it or not, we beat out Collins already. They already dropped out Collins.
Oh,
And
wow.
believe it or not, we are actually, this isn't really public knowledge, but we are manufacturing power amplifiers, 5 kilowatt and 10 kilowatt power amplifiers for Collins that they will be putting their badge on. So Collins is coming to us for HF work now.
Wow. It's great.
Congratulations and good luck.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I received my 5-band Worked All States certificate this month.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Cool.
I believe I saw a pretty picture of that, which is what prompted the question.
Well, can I just throw in, I don't know how many of you are abreast of our ALSI project where we are putting up a tower. And so we've poured the foundation has been poured, and we've got the tower sections that we're going to probably be putting that up within the next couple of weeks. And on top of that will go a six-band Yagi. And then of course there'll be other antennas lower down on it's a 60-foot tower. So we've got a lot of space to put things. Once that is up, and Paul, if I don't join you guys this year for PAQP, I'll be sitting at that, in that shack with that, aim my beam right at you guys for sure on 20 meters or whatever band you want to work. And okay, so it'll be 20 through 6. So, maybe we'll even do 6, who knows? But anyway, just so everybody knows, so that thing's going to be a nice little powerhouse. We'll put an amp in there as well, and maybe a 300 or 400 watt amp, and we'll be a powerhouse station. So anyway,
That's great, Scott. What a great accomplishment. I know you've been chipping away at that group for quite some time. Good
well,
job.
I mean, it's really thanks to a lady who's working with us who writes these fantastic grant proposals. And she ends up winning quite a bit of money. So with that money, we were able to do this. Plus, we had a lot of volunteer help. The guys who poured the concrete actually dug our foundation with a backhoe, and all we had to do really was pay for the concrete. They were there they were concrete guys. That's what they do, and so they helped. They basically put the thing in for us. We just paid for the concrete and the rebar. They set up the rebar, had the concrete poured, and so it's really nice. And we're going to get a crane to help get that tower. So that's also a volunteer effort. So yeah, we've got between volunteers and the money we received in grants, it's been a really nice project. We'll also have some money left over to buy a couple more radios, I hope. So maybe a Flex, who knows? I'd love to get one of those, but one of these days, one of these days.
If it's for a nonprofit project, I might be able to help you out with the marketing folks. So let me know.
We'll see. Well, I'll definitely be coming up to Washington next month. So
well, I will be the Flex sales lady in Washington, so I will expect to have my 3 radios and my amplifier there at least. So
excellent, super. All right.
That was the really cruddy part about taking this job is they had to send me all these radios to have at my house and, to work on them every day. So, it's something I live with every day.
Well, you have our sympathy.
The struggle is real.
Yeah.
Might find a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
That's right.
I'm sure that NewScale gives you reactors to have at home, Paul, right? I mean, just to have around and power your house with.
That's how I get this glow. See, it's
there you go.
It's in the attic so that when my neighbors lose power, I've got all the lights on. It's all good.
You don't even need a generator.